Hello there, my name is Jared Mello, and this is another episode of Mello Mentoring. But today, we're not going to have an episode of Mello Mentoring. We're going to do an episode of Everything Eccentric. And today, my guest Erin Dee
Hi, Jared.
is here to join me. She is a musician, an artist, anything else?
I'm a mother.
Oh, mother. Are you a writer too, would you consider?
Yeah.
Okay.
I write songs. I write poems. And I turn the poems into songs.
Okay, interesting. So today, in this episode, we're going to have a conversation about Erin here. We're going to talk about the struggles she's had, her road to get from where she was, how she began to where she is today. But before I get into that, please do subscribe if not already. Hit the notification bell so you'll be notified when I come up with more videos. And please do share my content with anyone who you think might benefit. And in this particular...
There's the thumb. Thumbs up. Right there.
This episode is going to benefit people, I think, that are going through the struggle of doing something on their own. More entrepreneurial, more ambitious, artistic, and then the struggles that kind of come with that. And with that, well, what do you think? How did you get started in doing this anyway? When was the beginning of your music career?
I was lost. That's actually a good way to put it. I was trying to figure out what my purpose was and what I was meant to do long term with my life. It couldn't be just being a mom. I felt like there was more. There was something else that I had to aspire to be. So I had to get really, really, really low and into some bad things with some bad people. But from it, I found music, and I found a way to channel my negative feelings and my negative self-harm type behaviors into something that was constructive and progressive and made people happy but didn't hurt me.
So how old were you about when this was all happening? Was this high school or before high school?
When I started music?
Yeah.
I've been doing music my entire life. I was trained at the Walnut Street Theater from 5 to 18. Then I stopped doing music for a long time. I thought that I was just going to be a great karaoke singer. So I was like, this isn't a career path, this is a hobby. And then it became real for me. I had issues with addiction and stuff like that. So during that time, I got really, really confident in my music skills from what I was doing, and I was able to book gigs, be paid for my music, and watch it turn into something. So that really motivated me that this could be something real. So that's been within the last 2 years that it's really gotten some speed. Between playing guitar, ukulele, and piano, and learning how to do production and engineering stuff on my own. Not completely by myself. There have been a lot of people along the way helping me. You're one of them. But it has been mainly on my own because a lot of the people that were there along the way are not there anymore. So.
I mean, that is what happens a lot, right? Where we have to learn how to cut people off sometimes that are not going to be good for us, especially when you're trying to do things unconventionally. Because I know, for me in my life, as I've tried to do things unconventional, it's like the old crabs in the bucket. As one crab tries to crawl out, all the other crabs are like, get your ass back down here. They'll never admit it, but they are secretly almost worried you'll succeed. Because they'll be jealous.
Right, it makes them feel bad about themselves.
Exactly. And people, especially people who have come from the same place that you have, it really makes them... It's like a big mirror. Like, oh man, look at this person who could really do something well, and what do I have to show for myself?
Right.
It's like,
what did they do or have that I didn't do or have if we had the same upbringing?
Because it's certainly not easy though. This whole path. It's like it'd be the hardest fucking thing you ever do.
Yeah, because nobody believes in you when you first start it. That's the hard part. That's the part that people don't talk about. Is when you're doing it by yourself and everyone just thinks that you're nuts or you're just an addict locked in your room tinkering away on a piano. And then it takes, 2 years to be able to come out and go, okay, well, no, here's what I made. And then people are like, oh, okay. Now it's that third person affirmation.
So, you keep on talking about the addiction here. Was that, coming from an anxiety or depression that you were self-medicating in a way?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
But was it more for you?
It was fighting depression. The drug that I chose was a mood elevator It was one that built confidence. It was one that boosted my confidence and made me feel like superwoman.
Sure.
You know, I felt like I could do anything. Not that that's a positive thing, but that was the only thing that got me to where I am now with my music, was that false sense of confidence. So in the negative way, I can find something positive that did come out of it.
Now, I've heard you play without any drugs or anything, so how have you been able to kind of overcome that part where it's like you needed it maybe for a little while to get through these rough patches, but now, like, how has your mindset changed so that when you're up on stage now, it's like, nah, like, I'm good?
Well, first is practice.
Okay.
Just practicing sober. The other side of it was when I first got clean, I was really, really, really worried that my music was going to suffer. That I wasn't going to be as good as I thought I was, or that I actually was, that I wasn't going to be able to get gigs, or I wasn't going to have the confidence to be that presence on stage that I was. So really it was a matter of getting clean and then just doing it, and seeing that I was still capable of the things that I was before, even more so now because my brain isn't warped. I have better things I'm chasing.
So, do you do anything for anxiety and depression normally? Is like supplements, medicines, exercise, diet, healthy sleep, or it's just like, is it more of a mental thing for you and you just muscle through it?
It is definitely mostly mental, but I am 420 friendly. So I do self-medicate with that. It helps with the anxiety. It helps having something that isn't, a narcotic, that isn't a real hard drug.
It's definitely different than what the other nonsense is out there anymore. I know if I were to take a hit of any weed right now, I'd be hiding under the fucking table.
And that's why everybody's
it just gives
body
me
is
instant
different.
anxiety.
Everybody's
every
chemicals
time.
Are different, so it's going to react to you differently than it reacts to me, just like booze reacts to you different than it does to me, and vice versa. But I did live in California for like 8 months, so I got really, really, really used to the legal marijuana thing.
Strong though, right?
So, well, it can be if you want it to be. You can go to a dispensary, you can tell them all of your symptoms and your ailments and your issues, and they will prescribe you what will help you, or is it that they think, if you say, I have anxiety, I'm trying to get off of a drug and I'm not sleeping, I need help. They will prescribe to you some kind of a CBD oil or maybe a different kind of bud that doesn't give anxiety but will help you sleep. There's indicas, sativas, the world of marijuana is vast.
I don't know what it is with me, but no matter what I would try, all of that is all instant terrible. But I think honestly, I really do think it's the borderline thing. So I have a lot of borderline traits, and it makes me severely dissociated.
Yeah.
And so, like, I'm not even in the same realm. I get the same effects from weed that I hear a lot of people talk about when they do things like DMT.
Really?
And I get, like, that same sense of, like, super introspection. And it's very painful. Very painful, because it just puts a mirror up to me and it's like, Jared, here's how you're fucking up in life every which way. And like I do it.
I feel like that's more mushrooms and acid is like the mirror in your face.
No. For me, it's all I would need to do is the weed.
This is the weed.
How many
weeds?
Like in 1950. Exactly. But I mean, in terms of drugs for anyone, like I don't care what people do anymore. Like I used to be an NA person and be like, oh, if you do that, you have the weed, you lose your spiritual connection.
You a bad person
and you don't have no clean time now.
Right.
And that's the lens at which I would judge everyone through. Like, oh, that he's a drinker and a user, or he's one of us, an NA type person.
Stone cold, sobered.
But my whole philosophy has changed in the way that now it's like, I'm only for what's going to make people happy and healthy. If you can live a productive, happy, healthy life, I don't care what you do. And you know what really helped me to get this mindset in the very beginning when I'd left NA? Listening to Joe Rogan. As I'd listen to him, and he'd be smoking blunt after blunt every podcast, and guess what? He was still being super ambitious. He still did all sorts of things, and there's so many misconceptions about people who smoke. Like, oh, it'll make you lazy. And guess what? It does probably make some people lazy, but I bet you they're already lazy anyway.
Right. That's all it's doing. It's just I don't even know. Exasperating that quality.
It's accentuating what it is, right? And so if I even know a guy who's going to come on the show in a little bit, he's anti-drug, anti-weed, anti-all of it. And like, we're going to get into it a little bit. Because I mean, I hate weed, But yet I'll defend weed. Especially for, like, say, maybe NFL players, they're trying to use it for pain management. Instead of wanting to go on fucking Percocets and Vicodins, it's like, yeah, give him some fucking weed. Like, but he says, like, the weed now is, like, super powerful, fucking up people left and right. And it's just like, I get it. I don't think it's good for the developing brain. But if you're an adult, it's like, I don't mind one bit. And I think it's 1,000 times better than what they would give people instead of the Percocets and things. That's all this big pharma nonsense.
Right. And those make me throw up. I've been run over by a car, and I couldn't take Percocet, Vicodin, Oxycontin. I couldn't take any of the cool, awesome drugs that they give you when you get run over by a car.
It's probably a good
because
thing.
they instantly make me vomit. The second an opiate enters my body, and it just comes right back out. There's no...
It's probably good.
Well, right, yeah. I'm grateful for that trait. But marijuana helped me after my accident. I smoked out of a volcano vaporizer. They're like $800 online or something. You put the weed in this little like oven. You have to preheat the thing to 355 or whatever you do, and then it fills a bag up. And then I would smoke the bag, and I was able to, my body would relax. I didn't really get a head high from it, but it relaxed all my muscles in my body so that I could sleep whilst, healing from the injuries and all that good stuff.
I see. So I mean, as long as it's helping you, that's all I'd care about, right? I don't care. That's the whole point now. It's like, whatever people do, I don't mind what it is anymore. And I don't judge anyone for what they're doing either. It's like, hey, you want to do this? You want to smoke weed? Fine. I don't care. The only things I would draw the line on, like if someone's doing heroin right now in this day and age, it's like you're probably playing Russian roulette. And that's something I probably wouldn't advise you to do.
Yeah.
But other things, it's like, I just don't really care as much anymore about what people do. And I think part of it's because of my own experience. Like, I'll have all my supplements. Do Kratom. It's like, but it all really helps me, so I don't really care anymore about what people do.
Right. You see the positive outcomes
Exactly.
from it. But no one's ever sold their car for a bag of marijuana before, I don't think.
No, I wouldn't think so.
I don't think so.
That's what Bob Saget said in that freaking movie Half Baked, right? He goes, did you suck dick for weed?
Right, exactly.
Like,
no, they do that for crack.
Exactly. And so, but back to the more ambitious type thing here. So, like, you're on your path. You do really into music from 5 to 18. And you were telling me before, you do this science of music shit. What the hell is that?
Okay. So it's music theory. On crack, we'll call it that. So it's music science. I compose piano things mathematically. I have perfect pitch, so I can listen to a song on the radio, figure it out on the keys, and then within a minute when I did it earlier, and I figured out the whole song in 1 minute just from practicing this over and over again. It didn't happen like this when I first started. But mathematically, there's a way to define the key center of a song, and it works that way in every single one. So I'm kind of coming up with these formulas that are all based off of.
Is this like a new thing that no one else knows how to do?
Yeah.
So it'd be like a beautiful mind trying to fucking make these new formulas. I don't know how it would work. But it's like Rain Man type stuff you're talking about.
Yeah, it's a little bit like that. Like in the movie Proof, I think they do it in that. But without going into too much detail, it's basically just I have to continuously do my theories to every single song that I come into contact with, really.
Oh, so you gotta
to
prove
make
it,
sure.
make sure it
Yeah.
works.
Oh
okay.
yeah. Because in order to get something printed or proven or put my name on something that it's a fact, the amount of scientific journals it has to be published in and all these different ways that it has to be proven is a lot. So I want to make sure that when it gets to that point, there is the least amount of things that they can say, well, what about this and what about this? Because they're gonna try to throw monkey wrenches in my.
Well, as long as you have it backed up and you stand behind it,
that's where the binders come in. I have a lot of binders.
Yeah, well, I mean, as long as you make sure that it all adds up.
Right.
Literally and figuratively, right?
Right. So I come up with a question that somebody might ask me, or a way that somebody might try to disprove my theory. And then I'll think about that, and then I go, okay, well, what would I say to them so that I can have a comeback or whatever for that question.
The question I have now is, why aren't we doing something like this for your YouTube channel?
I'm still building my YouTube channel. I'm getting there.
It'll be in the link. The link to her YouTube channel will be in the description, by the way.
Soon.
So where are we today, though, with our ambitions? What are you doing now for music and this science of music stuff?
I still do the music science a little bit. It's a little slower, but really I just use that to help me with my live performances. So that's what I'm focused on now, is booking gigs down in Atlantic City. So I've been really blessed and successful to book 2 gigs so far in Atlantic City at Bore nightclub on New York Avenue in St. James Place. Okay, that's on the 28th. And then I booked another gig today in somewhere in Marmora. So that'll be coming. So I'm focusing on my live performances and making sure that those are on point and everything like that. And then the music science just comes in when I need to learn some request or a cover or something like that, and I can figure it out real quick.
So what have been like the struggles lately you've had to overcome in regards to just like keeping going instead of having to just go off and like go become a nurse or something like that?
Well, I mean, I just moved back from Cali. Maybe I think it's 9 weeks I've been home or back. So I went from not having an apartment to having my own apartment. Right now my struggles are basically all financial. I just have to
Preach.
right. It's pretty much just going to work every day, getting as many hours in as I can, and then hoping that I can have the free time in the right places during the week to do my gigs, practice for my gigs, book the gigs, make cool podcasts and videos like this, and still be a person and like watch Impractical Jokers and stuff, and hang out on my couch.
What keeps you going though? Like, and when the temptation comes, I'm sure people talk to you the way they would do to me, where it's like, no, Erin, why shouldn't you just grow up and get yourself a real job, go to school, get a skill, and just go do it like the rest of us and hate your job like the rest of us do? What stops you from doing that?
Well, luckily, everybody's been saying that to me my entire life. So it's kind of a broken record at this point where I'm like, yeah. But here's the thing I've learned. Everybody will tell you what they can't do. So everything they're saying to you, well, you can't do this because this is going to happen. Well, no, that's what you think. That's going to happen to you because you don't believe in yourself as much as I do.
I've heard it's like they're telling you their limitations, not yours.
Exactly. And I'm a big believer in whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right.
Yeah.
It's all mindset. I've done incredible things in my life that I never thought that I would be able to do now. And that's only because somebody had said that to me, and I was like, yeah, you know what? Screw it. Yeah, I can do it. I will do it. And then once you get in that mindset, and it just starts happening. The stuff starts happening because you really, what you're doing is you're just practicing more. Because everyone says practice makes perfect. So if you keep saying, yeah, I can do it, and then you do it again, well, you're practicing.
Right.
So
well, I think a lot of people need to hear this because there's tons of people who are like budding entrepreneurs that they're listening to the people that are telling them, oh, why don't you just settle? Why don't you just stop? Mm-hmm. And I always remember that Jim Carrey speech where he says most people choose their paths out of fear disguised as practicality type thing. And that's exactly what it is to me. Because for me, to not go for all of my ambitions and try to hit a home run in life would be like a slow death. Because everyone dies, but not all people really live. And that's my biggest fear. That's my biggest fear, really.
Having regrets at the end of your life, right? When you don't have enough energy to go, you can't go back in time. You can't get time back.
No, you can't.
You can't. What was the thing you said about Jim Carrey's dad?
Oh, Jim Carrey's dad was the one that he could have been a great comedian if he decided to like go for it, but instead he tried to play it safe. But it taught Jim Carrey a very valuable lesson because his dad lost his safe job as an accountant, and they had to scratch and claw and do whatever they could just to survive.
Food stamps.
Yes, and so it taught Jim Carrey that, okay, if you can fail at something you don't love, you may as well try to give your best for something you do love.
You might as well. I had a lot of issues with my depression, anxiety a long time ago with suicidal thoughts and self-harm and stuff like that. And I remember getting to a point where I was like, hold on, if I'm willing to kill myself and I'm really willing to die because I can't live up to these expectations that everyone's putting on me, I might as well just go for my dreams. If I'm ready to kill myself, that's how people are going to remember me. I would rather go chase my dreams and die chasing my dreams, and then, people remember me than the same. I'm still, either way, you're dead. It's just, why did you die? Why did you live?
That's a good one. Everyone always asks, like, what's your why? Like, what's your why for doing what you do?
I just want the world to be a better place. I want the world to be like me.
Be like you.
Just happier and more okay with being who they are on the inside. I always say, and I love watching people be themselves. That's my favorite thing in the world to say. I've said it all the time. And I love being the weirdo in the room that makes other weirdos feel okay to show they're weirdo and take the mask off for a little while. Because I wear a mask sometimes, but only when I have to. For the most part, I'm a free, wild child, do whatever I feel in the moment. And if that makes other people feel comfortable, that they start singing along to whatever's going on, or they're dancing and they look like crazy and weird, but they're still doing it, that's what makes me happy.
That actually sounds exactly what Jim Carrey would say too. In a different format, he said whenever he'd go around anywhere, he would be away so that everyone would be the best version of themselves around him. Because of how he was just, I guess, what would you call that, just accepting. He was just accepting and encouraging, and it really can go far away for people. But I also do think that like music and art can help people in a way that no coaching, therapy, counseling, or even medicines ever could.
Finding out that you have a talent is like the coolest gift that you could ever give to yourself, because a talent is something that you cannot go to school for.
Right.
You know, you can maybe classically memorize how to play piano, but you can't just know how to sit down and jam and write a song to it and have a song done in 10 minutes. So when you figure out that you can do that, it's amazing the thoughts that don't exist anymore, like, I want to kill myself and stuff like that. So
I laugh, but it's not funny.
It's not, but it is, you know? And I never used to do art. I never painted. I never drew. I never did any of that stuff. But I wanted to know how to do it. And I'd already learned 3 instruments in less than a year. So I was feeling a little like, you know, cocky. So I was like, I'm going to teach myself how to paint. I'm just going to learn how to do it. So I watched Bob Ross. And I learned how to paint from Bob Ross.
He has some happy little trees.
Oh, so the happiest.
And happy little accidents too. There you go.
Right, we don't make mistakes here. Just happy accidents.
But even a tree needs a friend, you know.
Everything he says could come right out of my mouth. I agree with everything he says.
Well, I think what he was doing was another version of what you just said. Like, he was helping people in the way that he knew how. Did you know Bob Ross used to be a drill sergeant?
I did know that.
I heard this Way I Heard It podcast with Mike Rowe, where he was like, he was a badass motherfucker. And he'd be yelling at everybody. But even his staff on the Bob Ross painting show, they said he ran the place like a freaking Nazi.
Really?
And that's why he was so good, though.
Yeah.
Like, so there was some memorial for him at some point, and the people were... Someone who worked with him was sharing about what it was like, and the audience was like, what the hell are you talking about?
Yeah,
it's Bob
that's not
Ross!
how he portrays himself.
No, but he was like, no. Boom. To the point. But it's just pretty cool when you find your gift like that. He decided to leave the army to do that and help people in that way.
Yeah.
Like, he helped
how
many millions now? And it's had like a resurgence now with YouTube, I think, too.
It's incredible the amount of people that showed up to his funeral, and then the memorials, and then the things that are coming out now, all the cult classic. There are fans that just wrote a book of Bob Ross quotes, and it's from a super fan somewhere in the world, and I found it online and I want it. But what's amazing is he actually passed away in 1994.
Wow.
He died in 1994.
Like 25 years ago.
A long time ago when they stopped running that show, but they kept running it. Why? Because even when he's dead, he's still making people feel good. I used to put the show on just to go to sleep to, because it's so relaxing.
That's what they say now. He's like original ASMR.
Absolutely. Absolutely. No, I love that show, and it was one of the things that got me through getting sober, actually, was watching Bob Ross paint and then pausing it and trying to paint the same way that he was painting and stuff like that. And realizing by the end of it, because he always says throughout, anybody can paint. I'm a lazy painter. Anybody can do this. Anybody can do this. So he makes you feel like you really can, and then you do by the end of it.
But he was like the Rain Man of painting. He'd be like in 30 minutes, he'd have like a freaking masterpiece, and I'd be looking at my shit like, what the fuck?
Right, and you're cursing him
Something's
out.
up here.
Screw you, Bob. How'd you do that? Wow.
Wouldn't add up the same, but it's always cool.
Yeah.
I call that you find in your why, and you give your gifts. Everyone's got to give their gifts and their talents, and like, what's the point if you're not doing that?
Right, and the part that kept me painting was I started selling my paintings when I was living in California. People were buying them for $25 a piece just because it was original artwork.
Dude, you could probably charge that shit for $1,000. People would do it. And as I think about it, why don't you do that?
Because I'm not greedy. $25 will buy me lunch. You know?
Don't call it greed. Call it like saying like you know your worth, then add tax.
I suppose. I do give a lot of my art away. Most of my art I've given away. As you can tell, there's not that much on the walls that I did.
Well,
because
think
all
of
the
it like
nice
this.
stuff, I'm like, oh, my mom would like this so much.
Although you're correct, but when you charge those kinds of things, think of how much less time you would have to do working at the old pizza shop, and instead how much more time you'd be able to put towards your art and your writing and your painting, and how many more people you'd be able to help in that way.
Yeah.
Because it literally is that. Like money is not everything, but it absolutely determines how you spend the majority of your time, how you make it. So it's like, why not do that? Like, we're not... I think a lot of people struggle with this in the beginning too, of becoming an entrepreneur, but like asking for the sale, knowing your worth, like instead of feeling guilty about it.
Sometimes you gotta be annoying. Sometimes you will annoy yourself.
I'll feel guilty even still.
Yeah.
Like I know there's coaches out there, for example, they're charging like $1,200 an hour. And I'm thinking to myself, how does this bastard charge $1,200 an hour when a doctor who's been trained for 10 years will only charge like $200 even as a psychiatrist? So like, it doesn't add up to me.
What's $1,200? What's the value on that? Like, what are you getting?
These guys,
$1,200. Am I getting a
guy,
back rub too?
entrepreneurs in cars, he charges $1,200 an hour, and so I would feel guilty charging that much. But the point is, they just do it.
Secrets.
I don't know what it is, but they're just doing it though, and there's a lesson to be learned there. I think where it's just like you just gotta go, like just rock it.
Well, you know
some people are.
That reminds me of a story. When I first moved to California, I started just promoting myself with my business cards and literally just putting them everywhere, leaving them in like convenience stores. I littered on the floor my business card. I would give them to guys, even though I wasn't interested in hitting on them, and I would say, give your phone number to a lady. I'd say, put your phone number on this and give it to a lady at the bar, and just put them all over the bar, or vice versa. Give this to a boy, put your phone number on it, and try to get people to book me. So the first guy that called me from this bar called The Spot, his name was Glenn, super nice guy. He emails me, hey, how much do you charge? Now, I'd played one gig at this point, live. I played Atlantic City Convention Center, but it was 30 minutes. It was real quick. It wasn't practice at all. So he's like, well, how much do you usually make on your gigs? So I was like, okay. All right, I got him in the palm of my hand. Like, I got to give him it. So I was like, $250. I was like, I get usually about $250 for a 3-hour set. So he was like, that sounds about right. You're booked for this day, and this day. He started booking me once a week, and then it became almost twice a week. So I literally just lied and said that I'd been playing gigs for years.
What were you charging before? You just never.
I had never been paid to play a gig. I had played one gig. It had never been a thing. I just faked it till I made it because I had no other choice.
I think I hear a lot of older people say that too. It's like if you really knew how little people knew what they were doing in life throughout the whole way, it's like you would feel a lot more comfortable. Or
absolutely.
You are now. Who really does know what they're doing exactly?
Everybody's faking it. Everybody is walking around bumping into each other, hoping the other person doesn't realize that they don't completely have it all together.
I agree.
Or a perfect plan or a perfect life. Everybody is covering stuff up. It's just how much. I don't know.
That makes sense to me too.
He seconds that. But yeah, so it's sometimes just lying, and you can call it lying, or just bolstering the truth, or just saying something that you want to be true in the future for yourself.
That does work.
Like saying, I get paid $250 for a gig, because that's what I think I deserve. I'm not going to say to the guy, well, I've never played before, so whatever you think is fair. Now I look like a pushover. You know, nobody's going to respect that person either.
So think of this.
If you don't have faith in your own talent and you don't find your own talent valuable, why the fuck should anybody else?
People will only treat you the way you treat yourself all the time. So if like you don't respect yourself and you disrespect yourself, like how can you honestly expect other people to respect you?
They'll never treat you
if you don't
better.
Respect you?
Right. Maybe the same, maybe definitely less, but never better than how you treat yourself.
That's the reason why I'm writing that Radical Self-Respect book, because it's the most important thing. I think everything stems from that.
Absolutely.
Everything.
Absolutely.
And it's not taught anywhere. The only way to learn it before is if your parents teach you the superpower, but very few parents did. And so it's like, is this something people got to know? But I told you yesterday, I do all the affirmations every morning. And I see it, I visualize it, I'll thank the universe for getting it in advance. And the more I do that, the more the shit happens to come true.
And you have to believe that it's on the way.
Well, you gotta believe in it, right?
You
like
have
I do
to believe in it.
I do believe.
Truly. Truly, and even if you don't, just say you do, because there's been so many times where I wanted to give up and I really, didn't think I would be successful in any fashion. And then as soon as if I push that thought away and I go, no, you're a fucking idiot, Erin, go practice your songs, you are great, you will be great, it's going to happen.
I would say don't call yourself a fucking
Something
idiot.
Something good will come of it. I've always booked a gig, within, that day or something. One time somebody just walked up to my house and knocked on the door, and I had just been upset because I didn't have any gigs booked. I didn't know when the next one was. Nobody was answering me. And this guy comes knocking up and he goes, oh, the Moose Lodge wants to know if you can play a gig tomorrow night.
The Moose Lodge.
Right. And I was like, I will be there. And I got a big smile on my face like I do right now because it made me feel so loved and cool that they went out of their way, because again, I didn't have a phone. My phone is there's always an issue with the phone. To drive to find my house, come to my house, knock on my door, because that's how badly they wanted me to play. And that's
I'll give you some confidence.
And I want more of that.
Sure.
I want that feeling again and again and again. I want people to want to hear me sing and want to hear my songs, because I really like the way that people feel when they hear my songs. People have reached out to me on Facebook thanking me for some of the songs that I've written, that it's helped them through times in their life, and people that I never would have thought to ever reach out to me, So it's...
Do you have a process for writing? When you write like lyrics to songs, is there like some process you do, or some sort of ritual?
So usually, the song lyrics will come from free writes when I'm angry or upset or sad or whatever, I'm happy, just any emotion that's like, you want to like text it to a friend. I just put it in my notes folder. So good, bad, ugly, whatever. It's all filled in there. And then usually I will get together with my guitar player, Frank Chase. He'll give me a guitar riff, something like that, or a beat to write to. And then I put it on, I listen to it, and I just go through my notes and kind of read a little bit and see if any sentences or words that like fit the beat or fit the vibe of the song, or however I'm feeling. Or sometimes it's
that's what Joe
totally
Perry would do to
cuff.
Steven Tyler, right? He'd like give him a little riff, and then Steven Tyler would like put the words back in the riff.
Exactly.
Whatever he would say, something like that.
Exactly.
And I also heard what Lana Del Rey said in some article the other day about how she's not a writer, writing has her. Is that something you can relate to?
In a way, yeah, not as like, ooh, Lana Del Rey, but yeah.
Some people love her.
This is when I listen to beats or I listen to a riff, I'm searching for, instead of like looking for something with your hands, I'm searching for it in my ear, what the melody should be, because the song will tell you, or it tells me anyway, I don't know. Okay. The song will tell me how the verse probably should go, or at least the cadence of it and the melody, right? How it sounds and the ba-ba-ba-ba-ba. Okay. Maybe not the exact words, but that's where Frank is pretty good. Frank's really good at filling in the blanks of where I'm missing a melody or I'm missing a set of lyrics or something like that. He'll give me a little... He's my inspiration, He's the one I've always been making music with. So
probably make a good team because of that.
We do. But even on our own, he has his own solo EP that he's been working on. I have my own solo EP that I'm working on. But we also have our songs together, which is really, really nice that we're able to have both of our solo projects, plus we have the one combined, and there's no dramatic, like, you're more popular than me, I want to be more popular than you, la la la.
I see.
You stole my song.
So we got only a few minutes left, because I see my battery's dying over here. So to get to the point of 3 rapid fire questions.
Okay.
They're just kind of off the cusp.
Here we go.
So 1, what would you tell your 18-year-old self right now? If you can go back and talk to her.
Oh, don't stop worrying about a boyfriend.
Okay.
Stop thinking that you have to have a boyfriend in order to feel good about yourself. And lock yourself in your room more. Stop being out.
That's good. How about if you could have a drink with anyone, dead or alive, who would you have a drink with?
Janis Joplin. We ask me this all the time. We already know. Janis Joplin.
I knew the answer to that. But no one else did.
She would drink me under the table in a heartbeat.
That's
I would try.
What would you like people to say about you at your funeral?
Oh, that I inspired them.
In any which way possible.
That I inspired them to make anything production-wise. Like, you could produce, if you want to start painting hard-boiled eggs, and I was the reason that you chased your dream, and that was your dream, was to become the most successful hard-boiled egg painter in the entire world, that would make me feel good. I always say I wish I have it good that I just want to be a guitar player because I could want to be a famous ventriloquist. You know?
I see.
So if I can inspire somebody to chase their dream, no matter how small or big they might think it is or insignificant, you know, I thought that I was just going to write a stupid song about a boy who broke my heart 2 years ago, and I ended up realizing that I'm extremely talented at music science, and I wrote a theory because of it.
I see.
You know?
Okay.
So
Makes sense.
just taking that first step to go, I'm like, I'm going to write a song, and I don't care if nobody ever hears it. I think it's pretty. You never know where it's going to go. I lived in California for an entire year because of my music. Like, my music has taken me so many cool places, and I've met so many awesome people chasing my dream. And the people that are supposed to be in your life will come and support you when they hear that you're not giving up no matter what's happening to you. That's what inspires people, is they watch you in the dirt and then they see you just keep getting back up. The love comes. It just sometimes takes a little while.
I can see that. So a couple more here. What's your best accomplishment or your biggest accomplishment, the thing that you're the most proud of?
My daughter.
That's a good answer.
she's the most important thing in my life, but I am so freaking proud of her. And if I'm a great musician, I can't imagine what she's gonna be, because I can see her talents in her and hone them the way that mine weren't, and I can see the insecurities and the issues that she might have because I had those same issues. So I'm very proud of how my daughter.
I can't wait to have a kid one day too. I hear a lot of good things about it. How about, what's your biggest regret? Biggest regret.
Okay, it goes back to the first question. Chasing boys for too long. Thinking that I needed to be somebody's wife in order to be happy. Or that I needed to make a boy happy or be on some boy's Instagram page in order to validate that I was attractive and, you know, wanted and things like that.
Interesting.
If I had loved myself more and loved my talents enough to chase them and develop them, who knows where I would be now.
All right, last question then. What do you think happens when we die?
They'll lock me up for this one. I think, and I said this in the car, I think that we all go home. I think our heavens are all different. I think our heavens are all what we think is perfect. Anxiety free, you know, whatever that anxiety is to each individual person. I think that it's specially made for you, because why wouldn't it be?
All right. Pretty freaking awesome. All right, Erin. Thanks for coming on the show today.
Thank you for having me, Jared.
I was happy to have you on. It was my pleasure, as they say at Chick-fil-A.
My pleasure.
But I'm going to include all the information of where you can find Erin in the description, her YouTube channel, and some of her upcoming tour dates, I guess we'll call them, right?
Sure. Why not?
Show dates,
They're tour
I guess we'll
dates.
say.
Why? I have to tour there. I still have to get there.
Absolutely.
We'll call them. I'll get a tour bus. It might be a lift, but...
Yeah, whatever people think about this in the comments, let me know if you'd like to see more of this kind of format, more like Everything Eccentric type stuff, or just whatever your thoughts are. I'd love to hear them. So with that, over and out.
Over and out.